What are we doing? All right.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games
and
board gamey things.
Yes, that's exactly it. Welcome to another episode of Board Games of Brew, a series where we drink hot beverages. It's a series where we drink hot beverages. Today we're having some pep tea while we talk about some kind of a board gamey topic. Am I right? A two-pick, if you will. So today's topic is board games that got us into the hobby, which Jeff and I had originally had differing opinions on.
We had to come to a common ground.
Because
Jamie was basically adding every game that we played early on.
Yeah, like the games
even
that
if it was something we
with.
played like one time, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really count. Like, but it's not games you love, and it's not games we played a couple times.
Okay.
It's games that influenced us to get into the hobby to this extent.
Once again, we just have different thought processes because
we
we're different people.
Do.
Anyway, this video
is brought to you in part by board games.
By board games.
And board gamey things.
And board gamey things. So, like we said before, this topic is games that got us into the hobby.
There's one on here I'm so embarrassed about, but it is so true.
It's so true. I think we've got like 8 games to talk about.
Yeah, we'll go through quick.
So, to start off, we're going to start off with a game that... Do you want to start with this one?
Yeah.
Since that's the OG.
Get it, knock it out. The OG.
Jeff and I used to live in another province, in another city, and we had like no friends. Not much different from now.
Yeah.
But...
So all we had were copious amounts of time to entertain ourselves together.
And so one game that we played a ton that really kind of like got us intrigued in the board game realm. And this is, Jeff's laughing because it's a little bit like weird and embarrassing. But that game...
I don't think it's embarrassing. It's just like...
It's just a random game.
I hadn't thought about this game at all until you had mentioned it again.
Yeah. So that game is Pokemon Masters. And this was a game that I got when I was in like junior high school, like probably grade 7 or 8.
Yeah, so when Pokemon had first come out.
Yeah, during the Pokemon boom of the early
initial,
2000s.
The initial like early 2000s Pokemon boom.
Yes.
The OG Pokemon people.
Exactly. And I was super into Pokemon.
So was I.
And so
big.
My mom got me this game for Christmas and I loved it. And I had like really, I didn't have none of my friends knew that I liked Pokemon because that is when
you were a closet Pokemon?
It was when it wasn't cool. So people were like, "Oh my god, look at those nerds playing with their Pokemon cards," and I'm like putting them in my pocket. I'm like, "Yeah, nerds." But I loved Pokemon so much.
I had no shame.
Yeah, so we played this game a ton when we were in Fredericton, and it's just like this little board game where you go around.
It's like a rondelle, and you're going around and you're
trying to catch
there's little
Pokemon.
tokens and you don't know what's underneath it, and each token is a different type of Pokemon, and you try and catch it, and I think there's gyms and stuff that you can go
you're
through.
Like a leader and you're trying to catch Pokemon, classic Pokemon stuff. Yeah, that would have been like, we would have last played that probably in 2015.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah, we played it a fair amount. Like, we dived into that.
Yeah. I was like, well, I have this game.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, let's play it.
Yeah.
So at the same time as that, we were also, I guess we should probably just dive into mentioning like the classics. So just like everyone else, I don't know about you as much, but like I grew up playing the classic board games. We played a ton of Monopoly. We played a ton. We had Trouble. We had the Game of Life. Sorry, like all.
I might have mentioned that already, but I mean, I didn't have a lot growing up, but we definitely had the classic board game. Sorry, we never had Trouble.
Getting into trouble.
But Chinese checkers, we played a lot of.
Oh really? We didn't have that.
Cribbage, which I've mentioned before. Scrabble.
Scrabble, definitely. But one that I wanted to mention in particular is kind of like a flair on a classic.
And again, this would have been at the same time that we were playing Pokemon Masters.
Yes, in Fredericton, when it was just Jeff and I, we played this game all the time, and that was Adventure Time Monopoly.
I actually would like to play that.
I would too. Like, we obviously don't play Monopoly anymore because it's really, when you start playing like modern board games, you realize how it's not that great.
Yeah.
But we have Adventure Time Monopoly, and we are huge fans of Adventure Time. You can't see on top of our board game shelf, but it's full of Adventure Time pops. So we played this game all the time.
Yeah.
And we would play it over like a span of days, and then the cats would like dink around and knock all the crap off the table.
I think we found this at like EB Games, which would be...
It was, definitely
Games. It would be GameStop in the US. And we were like, well, we have to buy this. And then we just started playing it, and I would probably play it again. I think would be cool.
Oh, I was like, the board is missing. It's literally right on top.
You just had it in your hand.
Anyways, yeah, so this is a collector's edition. So I don't know that you can actually find it now. So classic games like Monopoly, specifically Adventure Time Monopoly, was a big one for us. I was just going to say, like, really, we got into the hobby because of my brother, Zach.
Yep.
And he would have seen that we were, like, playing these games. So he was probably like...
Yeah, Zach's always been into the board game realm and into the hobby.
Right. So there is one thing on this list that only got Jeff in and not me.
I've mentioned before, cribbage was a big thing for my entire childhood. I think actually now that I think about it, it probably is the reason why I'm so competitive with games. I primarily played cribbage with my brother, my older brother, and my dad. My sisters played a little bit, my mom played a little bit, but not a ton. And there was no screwing around. Like,
seriously,
dad would beat you any day of the week. Even when I first started playing at like a super young age, there was no mercy. Yeah. And it was super competitive. Same as my brother. Like, all we ever wanted to do was beat my dad at cribbage. Like, that was the marker. I'd always had a predisposition to playing games, I think, because that was a big part of my childhood.
Yeah, and like I grew up playing like Skip-Bo and Uno.
Yep.
So like, you know,
I played those as well,
classic games there.
Yep.
So those are some of the classic games that got us into the hobby. But moving beyond that into some more like modern.
Yeah, more modern-esque. There's kind of like an intersection between when we were playing these types of games and then we kind of transitioned pretty quickly into what we would, I guess, what people would consider modern board gaming.
There is one board game in particular that we both remember as like, that was the game that we were like, what is this?
Yeah, we were.
How do we get more of this? That's Game of Thrones, the board game, which we still have.
And this is the second edition.
Yes.
We've played this game more than probably the majority of the games on our shelf.
We at least played it for longer.
Yeah, like when we first played this game, it was with Zach.
Yep.
I think we have a copy, Jason has a copy, and Zach has a copy.
I think so.
I think we all have a copy of this game.
Yeah.
And we played this all the time. We could not stop. We were so addicted to this game.
Yes.
This was our first foray into like modern board games and heavy strategy games. Like this game, if you've never played it, takes a very long time.
Yeah.
Hours.
Hours and hours.
Like 4 or 5 hours.
And we would like we would start playing this game. We would put on the Game of Thrones soundtrack or theme song, and we would play for like 5 hours straight.
Yeah, and just lose track of time. Like that was, I never thought like this is taking a long time. No. We were so enamored by this game. It was during the Game of Thrones, like the shows were on, I believe.
Yeah, well, it would have been 2016 that we started playing this game.
Yeah, I want to play that again.
I mean, that, when you think about it, like that was literally our gateway game into the hobby. Like that one game, that's how we started. So when people say like, oh yeah, like my gateway games were
like Azul
or a Splendor. And now when we play those gateway games, we're like, oh, we could have had a much easier path.
Yeah, we dove into the deep end. we dove into the deep end. And it's funny because you will hear us sometimes, I think, and this is something we've never explained. So sometimes when we're playing a game and we're attacking one another, we will be like, oh, I'm Game of Thrones in. You'll hear Jason say it. And he actually said it in the Scythe video. He's like, Jeff, if you want a Game of Thrones, so that means fight. Because every time we were playing this game, if we were going to attack one another,
we would yell, like, Game of
Thrones! And like attack the other person. Like that was this house thing we had. Yeah.
That's literally my favorite thing to do in that game.
So now that we play games and we're like, I'm going to Game of Thrones you, or Game of Thrones.
That's what it means.
That means we're
just
going
like
to
in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I have so many good memories about that game.
Do you know what would be so fun? And I don't know if you guys are all interested in this, but I would love to do like a playthrough series of all of these games. But wouldn't that be fun? Like just to play through like our
let us know what
games?
You think. Yeah.
Yeah, if you'd like to
There's a fair amount of games on here though.
Do playthroughs or like, because we haven't played some of these, like we have not played a Game of Thrones board game in years. And Munchkin Quest. Oh, never mind.
Haven't mentioned that one yet.
Or like the Monopoly game. So I think that would be fun. I'd like to play that.
I don't know how many people would love to sit down and watch someone watch Adventure Time Monopoly, but I mean, I don't even care if people didn't watch it.
I don't care if you guys don't want to see that. We're doing it anyway.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, so moving into the next game, it is not regular Munchkin,
No.
Munchkin Quest.
Yeah,
So if you're like, everybody knows, I think, what Munchkin is, and Munchkin is a pretty common like gateway game.
Yeah.
Munchkin Quest
Great game.
adds like another element to that where it's like...
It's a tile-laying dungeon crawler.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really funny about this game is we've had it sitting on our shelf since the day we bought it, and we've never played it, our copy. We've only played Zach's
That's
copy.
normal Munchkin. Where's Munchkin Quest?
Right there.
I
Anyways,
love Munchkin Quest.
I wonder, though, how we would feel about it now.
I think I'd still love it.
Right, interesting.
I would love to play that again, too.
That was kind of like your intro into the dungeon crawler.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that we dove into like head first, and we haven't looked back since. It's on both of our top 11s, and that's Clank, a deck building adventure.
Yep.
So Zach, once again, Zach is the one that introduced us to Game of Thrones, Munchkin Quest, Clank. So Clank, he brought this out, and we were both like, this is amazing.
The first time I played that game, I was like, this is the best game I've ever played.
And I still love it.
Yeah,
I friggin' love that game because, like, you know, you're diving into it. The theme was different than like what we had been playing with the Game of Thrones, and it had some different mechanics
like
in
the
it.
push your luck aspect.
Yeah, we love Clank. We still love Clank. Like
it was the deck builder thing for me.
Yeah,
that was the game that I learned that I loved deck builders even before Dominion.
Yeah,
Magic the Gathering. I had been playing that at this point.
Yes,
I didn't include Magic the Gathering on this list because it's not something that influenced both of us. But I'd already seen the deck builder mechanic through Magic the Gathering. So then when I played it via Clank in a board game capacity, I was like, yes. all day on Clank.
Love it.
That was one of those games that I think for both of us, after we played it, we talked about it nonstop. We were like, we just couldn't wait to play it.
We played it so much, and then just like Game of Thrones, I think we all have our own copies. Then we have...
This is very equivalent to Game of Thrones.
This one, yeah. So this is on Jeff's top 11. And when we got into this game, boy.
We got
into this game.
Into the deep end.
And that is Scythe from Stonemeyer Games. Yeah. And like we just said, we at the time were playing a lot with my brothers, and then also one of my brother's friends, Matt. We thought we got into it, but like he got into it. Like he bought everything.
Scythe in a bigger kind of capacity, not just for us, but for Jamie, for Jason, for Zach, and then Jason's friends and Zach's friends. Scythe was the game that there was many people that were new to board gaming. They were all Magic players. Yep. And then Jason introduced most of them to Scythe, and it was just like this cascading effect of like everyone wanting to play Scythe. I have so many, again, so just like Game of Thrones, so many fond memories of Scythe. Yeah. It was something that kind of kept getting better and better for me too, because we played original Scythe, then we got the extra factions. Yep. And then we got the Rise of Fenris campaign, and we played that game to death. To the point now where we haven't played it. Much. We haven't played it in a very long time, so I think that, I think I'd like to play that again. It's tough for us because, like, we're 2-player primary. Yeah. Jason lives about an hour away, and we can't get to see him as much as we'd like to. Zach's in Egypt. Luckily, he's moving back soon. But normally when we get together, we want to play all the games we haven't been able to play yet. Yeah. And so new games that we have, or, you know, games we've only been able to play 1 or 2 times. Yeah. So Scythe never comes up. No, I might have to relearn it. I remember most of how that works. I always forget how to play board games. I think at some point when, again, we're COVID lockdown, we can't really travel. So when things open up again, and hopefully we can see your brothers more, and, you know, maybe our gaming group expands, Scythe will hit the table more. I do miss it. Scythe is another one of those heavy games. We went really into the... like we dove. Yeah, we dove. We ran. We did not walk into the hobby. Yeah. So one more game, and that game is Arcadia Quest, which we also have. So the last one that really kind of we would consider one of our things that got us games that got us in. Yeah, this was by Simon Games. Was Arcadia Quest. First attempt at playing like campaign-ish. Right. Dungeon crawler. Like scenarios, and it has like mini figures. Like Jeff and I were just recently talking about starting to learn how to paint games, and I think if we do, or when we do, we're going to start with Arcadia Quest, because the figures are like kind of big and they have bigger features. And this like game Chibi, is like, this game is like
fighty and stuff, but like so also cute. Like you get to build not really build your character, but you get to play with different characters.
You do, though. You get new items and upgrades and stuff.
Yeah.
And in each scenario, it progresses through a story. I wouldn't necessarily say it's campaign, maybe, I guess, a bit. This was really the game that got me into campaign dungeon crawlers. Like this was the gateway for me to get into that. I think it's a great game. We loved it. The components are beautiful. I mean, it's a CMON game. Everyone knows how good their figures are, and it's loaded with figures. And there's so many expansions. We have this one, which is the base version. We also have Beyond the Grave. I remember the first time we played Arcadia Quest.
We loved it.
It was one of those games we could not stop talking about. And we just wanted to play again and again and again and again.
And we played through all of the scenarios
in like 2 days.
So quickly.
Yeah, it might not have been 2 days. It might have been like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Once we opened that box, it was like, that's all we did.
That's all we wanted to do was play that game.
I have a lot of fond memories.
I don't know what it would be like replaying all of these games, but Arcadia Quest, because we've played Starcadia Quest recently, it is one of those games where I'm like, oh, like, yeah, this reminds me of Arcadia Quest and it's so fun, but I don't find it as exciting or as fun as I used to now that we've played a bunch of other games.
But to not deter you, I do think you should play this, and I'll tell you why. So when we first played this game, we were obsessed with it. Super obsessed with it. And so our friend John, who has Starcadia Quest, had never played any of the other ones.
Right.
Played Starcadia Quest, and then he was obsessed. So then he was like, come over and play. And we were kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll come and play. But we'd already played Arcadia Quest. So we weren't quite as into it as he was, but then he introduced it to others and they were super into it. Like, I do feel like if you like board games and you haven't played Arcadia Quest, and you haven't played some of those bigger Gloomhavens and stuff, you're gonna love this game.
Yes.
Like, no question.
So those are the games that we had on our list. I did have a few other written down that I crossed out. I do still think I am going to mention Coup, because we did play that one a ton when we got it.
I just don't think that was early on, though.
Are you really?
I don't think so.
I think it was before Arcadia Quest.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well, I guess I think
it was later.
It wasn't.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Nah, come on. Anyway, so that was on my list because I am gung-ho that was...
If you want to mention Coup,
I already did.
So Coup is a deduction,
it's a lying game.
Yeah, you want to fool the group. So this is, oh boy, this is Coup.
This is Coup.
It's very shiny box, so I apologize. It's just a card game. And
it's fun.
Each person has 2 cards. There's like 5 or 6 different types of cards, and they all represent a different thing.
And you have to be like, I'm the Duke, so I can do this. And then people are like, you're a liar! Yeah. And it's fun.
So, to elaborate on Jamie's point, you have your 2 cards in front of you, and you can lie about, you know what those cards are, but you can lie. They all allow you to do different things. So one of those things might be to take 3 coins from the treasury. So you would be like, as the Duke, I'm going to take 3 coins from the treasury. And everyone around the group can be like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And then if you flip the Duke and prove you're right, they have to lose one of their cards. If you're lying, you have to lose one, that sort of thing. That's how the dynamic works. So it's really fun. It's a great little party game, in my opinion. There's so much intrigue. Everyone always thinks I'm lying. I could have 2 Dukes in front of me and then someone else, because I think there's only 2 or 3 in the whole game, so someone could be like, as the Duke, and I'm like, I have 2 of those.
Yeah, we've had games where everyone's like, as the Duke, and you're like, what? We can't all be a Duke.
We can't all be a Duke here. And so you don't, anyway, it's it's a really fun party game. And you know what, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, because
we did introduce a fair amount of people to that game.
Yes.
And
we played that. I swear we played that long ago.
You're right. Your memory is better than mine for certain things, for dates and stuff.
Exactly. So those are some of the games, most of the games. We may have forgotten 1 or 2. It's hard to say.
Yeah, probably. We've played a lot of games.
Those are the most memorable games that got us into the hobby. So let us know down below what some games that got you into the hobby are. We would love to know. And also let us know if you're interested in seeing us do a series of playthroughs on our personal gateway games. Game of Thrones would take forever. It would be a lot of festival.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to really sit down and, you know what? We just did 7th Continent. That took like 4 hours.
That took like a whole day. And we lost.
Yeah, I would do it. Why not?
Why not?
I think it'd be fun.
Why not? Let us know down below some of your gateway games.
Making bacon pancakes. Making bacon pancakes.
Take a bacon and you put it in a pancake. Make a pancakes. That's what we're gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Thank you guys.
What was that?
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. If you'd like to follow us on social media, please do so. On Instagram, we are at Foster the Meeple. We are also on Facebook if you're interested.
I do think we're not just family on Facebook anymore.
No,
there's
we have other people.
There's like 2 or 3 others that are not me, Jamie, Jason, Jamie's mom, and Zach.
Exactly. But basically our Facebook is just our Instagram
and my buddy Dan.
It's our Instagram posts and some of our videos because I usually forget to post on there. Anyways, follow us on Instagram at Foster the Meeple.
Yeah.
We hope to see you guys again soon.
Yep.
And now we say goodbye.
Later it is.
Goodbye.
Good quality vids today. Ew.
I landed on the chair real hard. Is it peppy enough for you?
I haven't had a sip yet.
Wait for me.
Yeah.
Keep waiting. Here.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Allow?
No. Not allow. You can do whatever you want. I'm not allowing you to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
The ninja's getting away with the old man's diamonds.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Cool. So, yeah, let us... royal promise.
Alright. We hope to see you again soon.
We hope to see you. Wait! Oh, you're always rushing me.